Today we're going to talking about HTML and CSS. Some of our talking points include the universal selector, what it does and what it is, and the important element, and the conflict between selectors, and the border, margin, padding, and content. These are some of our talking points, or these are our talking points. So right here, I have an example of conflict between selectors. As you can see right here, we have a class author, as you can see right here, a ID author text, as you can see right here, and a paragraph, as you can see right here. They are all, and just so you know, the conflict is not in like the color, font family, or the style. The conflict is in the sizes, as you can see right here, 22, 20, and 18. So I want you to take a second, look at the code, and guess which one will be used. Now I'm gonna show you the end result. As you can see right here, this is it, and here you can see the end result. If we click on inspect, and we gotta just, if we just click on it, you will see that it used ID author text posted by Laura Johnson, and you could see the class and things. But if we go over to this side, you will be able to see which font is used right here. Font text hashtag, that means it used ID and is struck over the font sizes from the other ones. Why did that happen? Well, that happened simply because there is a ranking in between selectors, and class is the weakest of them. ID is much stronger than class. So if in our case, ID was the one who got used because it simply is stronger than class. But if you look at this example, it explains it. You can think of it as a system, a point system. Class is worth 10 points, ID is worth 100 points, inline style is worth 1,000. Now, what is inline style? You might ask. And I'm gonna pull up an example for you right here. So this is an example of an inline style where you style a specific element, and in that it is the strongest one. There would be almost nothing that could override this, but only one thing could override it, which is if I go over here and I do this and I write important. Now that would like this, and now you go back and you see it's not working. Why? Well, simply because you're writing it in the wrong place. So you go on, you delete it, and then you choose what is the important thing. What do you want to be important? In my case, I want the font size to be 20. So I will click right here in between, and I'll write caps lock. No, I'll do this, and as you can see, it pops up, just important. Now if I go back, you can see it changed immediately, and if I look over here, you can see that it stroked the 22 pixel and 18, but what did it keep? The 20 pixel. Why? Because I used important, as you can see right here. So that basically explains it, and the grades. Now let's talk about the universal selector and what it is. So let me pull up something right here. So right here, so what the universal selector is pretty self-explanatory. it selects everything universally. So, as an example, CSS. If we go and we make a universal selector right here, as you can see, that right there is a universal selector. And usually when you do this, you write down box sizing, border box, and all of that, and that means everything in the CSS will have the box sizing border box. So it selects everything, and as you can see right here, it is explained in W3 schools right here, and you can read about it. Now, one of our other talking points is, so then we have the inheritance rule, which is a parent that would give something to their child. Like in real life, if for example, a father who has wealthy dies, his kids will inherit them in the same way. In the same way HTML and CSS works. And we've had experiences with it with pseudo classes, as you can see here. Article, image, last child, first child, all these things factor in. So as you can see right here, no, not this one, in this one you can see that the first child and the last child are these. Let me close this one. These are the first and last childs, and you can see how they're styled differently according to their parent elements. Now, for our last talking point, we have the box model and its contents. As you can see here, this is an example of a box model. You have your margin, your border, your padding, and then the content. So, and that is a box model. And what are these things, you might ask yourself? Well, basically, a margin could be explained as the distance between you and a wall, for example. Now, let me pull up an example on it. So as you can see right here, you have this, let's think of this as a picture. And you have your content right here in the middle, and you can think of it as what the padding is it's like a fat man's belly. It's inside of him, but it's not visible. As you can see right here, that's what it is. You think of it as a fat man's belly. Then you have your border, which is like a photograph's I don't know what you call it, but it's a border, you know? It's like your clothes or something like that. And then your margin is pretty simple. It's just the distance between you and a wall, for example, or the distance between you and your friend, you know, and it's invisible. The only things that are visible here on a web page is the border and the content. These two exist, but they are invisible. So in our news app, we do have no, we don't, but as you can see right here, this is margin. There's space in between them. This is a border, as you can see right here. And those are some examples. Here we have another example right here. If we go and click on inspect, you'll see a box model like the one we saw before. You would see the content right there, and the padding, we have none, and then your border, which are these lines, and then the margin. As you can see, there's lines. So you see there's margin between this box and the end of the page. That's the margin. This is the padding. This is the content, and this is the border. So that basically explains it all in simple terms.